They change it so often. But anyway, I was thinking, we were talking yesterday about the soul being God, and it's like so simple. And I was 70 years old by the time I figured out what that meant to be. Because when you come to Earth, you come to like experience your free will. So the last thing you think about is your soul. And so you think you're separate from your soul, but it's impossible for you to separate from your soul when you're a soul being. In fact, your soul is driving, you now. Whereas if you're a clone, you're driven with a brain implant. You got a computer or some shit controlling you, and it's based on probabilities. And it's so funny when they talk about, these computers, AI is going to catch up to humans. It is so ridiculous to think of that because it's impossible. But there are billions of clones here, and we have to know the difference because one is there's no law you could hit them over the head with a hammer like a pinata, but you better be sure. But I don't know. There's no. The whole thing is in 3D we are capped at 25%. We can only know another person 25%. That's you can play with the numbers all you want, but that's what we end up. So, is it really that important what your mom or dad or husband or wife think, or your best friend that you've known for 60 years, and you finish each other's sentences? I would say if you're finishing each other's sentences, you're probably close to 25%, but most people only know each other maybe 5%. And it's okay, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to dig out these duality, the darkness inside that would not be challenged. And so everything's perfect the way it is. But just know that, you could be best friends with somebody, but you're going to sit down and catch up, and you guys you're going to be surprised at some of the answers. And a lot of times your best friend says, he doesn't really know me. And it's like, because you're playing the image here so often instead of being authentic. And it's tough to be truly authentic. But I think if you merge with your soul and you realize that, my God, yeah, should I tell anybody? Well, maybe that's what they were talking about. They said, go within. And that's what they were finding. It was that your soul is God. If you have a soul, it is, you came here whole, complete, needing nothing. And that was you and your soul. And then you get distracted and you think you're separate, but you're not. But if you come back around, that you're just going to go all in with it. And I've gotten very, no one knows the time or the date, when the ascension is, or the rapture, or whatever you want to call it. But I think it's going to be within the next 2 years. And I'm reading the tea leaves, and, but my guess is as good as anybody else's. But there's a lot that factors into it. But it just seems like things are speeding up now. And the guy that I'm getting the information from, his dad is in charge of the whole ascension in the Pleiades. So, yeah. So, yeah, cool, man. Yeah, I found out I'm a Pleiadian. I could talk about that another time. But when your soul knows you 100%, knows and loves you unconditionally, and at the core of every single person is 100% love. There's no beginning, no end to the soul. It always was. It was always a part of the whole source of everything. And that's why they call us the children of God, because we are literally a fragment of source inside of us. We are super, each one of us is Superman or Superwoman. I mean, but we don't know it. And that's okay. We're all going to ascend to 5D anyway, and we're going to leave these evil fucks behind. Clones ain't going. No clone is going. No evil is going. But if you intended to be a living person, you're going. And you're going to be engulfed with a stargate around you. And you're going to know, with a blink of an eye, boom, you're going to be there. And you get there, you realize that you look younger, or you're going to be between 29 and 35 looking all the time. You never age, you never die. So anybody that's listening to this, don't die in the next couple of years, because you're not ever going to die. You're going to ascend, and you're going to go to a place, you're going to wake up from this dream. And this is a waking dream, they call it. And you're going to remember everything. I'm going to remember that I have a mate up there in Pleiades, Sterope. And I've got a mate up there, and we have 33 children, so I've probably been with her for a few years. They don't believe in marriage, but they have a mate, and that mate is forever. So I don't know. I'll catch up when I wake up, I guess. But it's going to be so cool. But so we're going to go through a Stargate. Pets, children, everybody that intended to love. But if you harmed another person and you liked it, or you know, are evil, you're going to stay. I don't know how they do that. Not my choice, but I'm going. I feel it. And I think everybody that's alive now came here exclusively. The number one reason, they came here for other reasons too, but the number one reason was to be here for the ascension, experience this. Because this will be every planet. I mean, they'll talk about this for forever, because it's never been done. A whole planet and everybody in it ascending to a different, from 3D to 5D. I mean, there's no duality there. They're going to remove the ones from 3D, and eventually, you know, all of those people eventually work their way up, and they'll ascend. Everybody will be on 5D. That's our home. Whereas before, we didn't really have a home. We just had this 3D. We had to keep reincarnating all the time with the duality. But now, we have crystalline bodies instead of carbon. And a crystalline body has light instead of blood. It has, everybody will automatically know how telepathy and how to fly. We fly. They're automatically going to know that without any training. And there'll be other gifts that you already know too. And some of you may be starseeds. There's 200 million starseeds on the earth right now, incarnated. One of them is Jesus, Sananda. I don't know where he is, and he's always with Mary Magdalene, which is Nada, Lady Nada. And she's called several different names. She was like the divine feminine on earth when she was here, beautiful. She was not a prostitute at all. The whole Bible is just so full of shit. You know, they said he died on a cross. He didn't die on a cross at all. He left on a spaceship. A spaceship picked him up. Him and Nada. Him and Mary Magdalene. And they went back to the Pleiades. He's an elder in charge of a planet for the commander for the Galactic Federation, but he's an elder and in charge of the planet Merope. Mine is Sterope. It's Merope, Merope. and his name is Sananda. And it's just fascinating. There's so much history that was so screwed up. But we'll be able to just, one of the guys is going to give everybody a little box, and we could go into the Akashic. It'd be like a little iPhone, and then we could throw it up on a friend's screen if we want to share something that happened to us in this world, and we're at a dinner party or something, and say, I'll show you this. And and you could talk about what you learned or whatever. A lot of the instruments, music instruments and everything originally came from the Pleiades. They were like their kids. We're like their ant farm because they love us and take care of us. They've saved us from extinction so many times because we're so stupid. But, they know we've been dumbed down. They know that. But people that are Earth native souls, which there are, most people are Earth native. People that are Earth native souls, will, when they go to 5D, they'll be home. Now, starseeds can go and hang out for as long as we want. When we go home, we go home. And I think my body is in some kind of a light chamber in the Pleiades, so I'm not. But, I'm going to be there for billions of years, so I don't know. I may stay an hour, I may stay, it may be very fascinating to be a part of 5D New Earth. Sheen, they call it. But that's going to happen within the next 2 years. It's going to be the biggest fucking thing that's ever happened to anybody. So don't make any plans. Don't make any 5-year plans. Because, we saw the last presidential election, and even Trump said that Trump, as it turns out, is an archangel. And archangels do not have a home. They just go from one place to the next. But he's Archangel Uriel, and they don't, archangels, like Trump doesn't get any, he's never had a negative entity attachment, ever. And if you're an archangel, you're immune to that. That's one of the things they don't attach themselves to you. But if you're human or whatever, you can go inside your soul room inside, and it provides the same thing. You'll be one with your soul, and you invite him to come out with you, and nobody's going to fuck with you when you're with your soul. You're with God. Nobody's going to come near you. So it's good. So that takes care of that. But I did want to say that. I wonder if that was, when they say, remember who you are, you remember your God. That's the whole